Jacob Rosales is my next guest, and you could see him compete next when he meets Jose Martinez in the co-main event of LFA 97 on Friday, January the 15th. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
It's fight week, man, so you must be pretty amped up. How has this camp been thus far?
This camp's been awesome. The whole training, it's been a little weird with the COVID, but other than that, it's been awesome. The work's the same. I've been training hard, and I'm just excited. I'm excited. This is the most excited I've been in a while for a fight, and it's kind of like my comeback. So I'm ready to go in there and show out.
Why is there like a specific reason why this particular fight you're more excited than others?
Yeah, the last it gave me a bitter taste in my mouth, and I wanted to bounce back right away. My coaches made me take some time off, work on the small little things I had to work on, and I just been hungry. I've been so hungry. I've been ready to go in there and hurt somebody. And the dude that I'm fighting, he's tough, but I gotta hurt him.
As far as what it is that you've been wanting to work on or what your coaches want you to work on, is there something specific, like a part of your game where you've really tried to tighten up?
Yeah, it's mostly just being a little bit smarter, I guess. Just kind of like taking my time. I was a little bit too aggressive my last fight, and we just cleaned things up. It's nothing too crazy, but it's definitely a big change, and we're ready to show out.
That's exciting. You did talk a little bit about how COVID affected your ability to train in some regards. Just take me through that. What was 2020 like? I mean, I know you fought a couple times, but just training your day-to-day life. I mean, how much did it affect your ability to evolve as a martial artist?
I mean, uh, I still worked out every day. I still did something. Me and my coaches still met up. We found time. We even like cut practices in half where the smaller guys would go in the earlier days and the bigger guys would go later. So it wasn't like nobody was getting sick. Nobody was like, you know, it's still a risk, but we found ways around it, and we still worked hard. We still trained every day. I still had it, it was the same, but it was different. If that makes any sense. Like we
Sure.
just, yeah, it was just different. Like the scheduling, but you know, it is what it is.
No, that makes sense. I'd also like to get your thoughts on. I mean, you climbed the mountain, so to speak, and made it to Contender Series, which, as a young fighter, that's kind of like where everyone is trying to get to because you're fighting right in front of Dana White. All of the MMA world has their eyes on you. Unfortunately, you dropped that one to someone that's really doing fairly well in the UFC now. You're 1-1 since then. Just what has your the mental side of your game been like since making it to Contender Series, dropping that fight, going back, getting a win, and then losing most recently?
Well, I mean that contender fight gave me a bitter taste in my mouth too. I went in there with a broken leg and re-broke my leg during the fight and tore ligaments in my ankle. So it was like I was I was there, but I wasn't me, and it just sucked that I couldn't be my best self in there. So I had to come back. I went and scripted a win, and then try to fight for the LFA title, and came up short. So I mean, my my mentality is the same. I'm still hungry. I'm still gonna get there. It might take a little bit longer, but I'll get there.
How would a second fight with Jonathan Pearce or Bryce Logan play out?
Finish them, kill them, first round, easy. They're scared. I know they're scared. Bryce Logan was scared. He ran, and he had a great game plan. But they wouldn't want to fight me again.
When you
They
see
wouldn't.
John, when you see Pierce, that he had just had a huge win. When you see his success in the UFC, does that drive you anymore in training? Does it upset you when you see someone that is where you want to be, kind of, and you could have been there? Does that bother you?
No, no, not at all. Like I would never be pissed at that. Like good for him. I wish he does the best. I hope he goes in there and kills everybody. But he's got to stay away from me. That's for sure. And I would love to have both of them back again.
As far as that Bryce Logan fight, looking back on that one now, is there something maybe that you would have tried to implement or do a little bit differently in that one?
Yeah, would be just taking my time, not following him too much. I think I I was chasing him. I should have just let him come to me. I think that was a big mistake I made, and we fixed that. And yeah.
You talked about the injury prior to the fight against JSP and then re-injuring yourself. How healthy are you feeling now? Are you back to 100%?
Oh yeah, I'm 100%. Everything's healthy. Everything's healthy, and I would never take a fight like that again. It was just a Contender Series. It was a once in a lifetime. I couldn't let that pass by. And yeah.
Tell me a little bit about yourself outside of MMA. I mean, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do?
Um, I don't do anything but train, man. I literally live at the gym. My girlfriend trains with me. We're always at the gym. I mean, for my free time, I stay at home and watch movies, scary movies. I mean, like that's my thing, true crime and scary movies. But other than hobbies, I don't do anything but train.
When did you know that you wanted to be a mixed martial artist for a career?
The first time I stepped into the gym when I was 10 years old, and I knew I was like, I'm never doing anything ever again. This was going to be my thing. I going to high school, I had to do a senior project, and every like it had to be like something you would really do. It'd be like people were police officers, firefighters, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do mine on fighting. I failed it. I failed that exam because they didn't. It wasn't. You know what I mean? I couldn't do fighting, but I mean, I've always known that fighting was gonna be uh, my life since the day I started.
When you were a little guy, was there someone that you looked up to? Was there like a fighter specifically that you kind of maybe modeled yourself after?
I started training at CSW, and that's when Josh Barnett was in there. I would see like Andre Arlovsky. So the people that I was around in the gym were the people I looked up to, like Eric Paulson, Ben Jones, all these great fighters that came into the cage. But I've always known like, oh, I can't wait to grow up and be better than them. Have them look up to me, and then them see my face, and I I just kind of grew up thinking that.
For sure. Was there one discipline of MMA that maybe took you longer than the others to really do well at and get a grasp on? I mean, I know it's so diverse, so many different, disciplines that you have to train to be a proficient mixed martial artist. Was there one that was harder for you?
Um, Not so much. I started with jujitsu and catch wrestling. Um, I wouldn't. I mean, they were all hard. They all took their time, but I wouldn't say one was harder than the other. They were all pretty hard.
Gotcha. Now, as far as your weight cut nowadays, what is that like? Like, what do you typically walk around at, and do you have to really stay disciplined in order to make the weight that you're fighting at?
Before when I was a couple years ago, it was pretty hard making the weight. I did it in dumb ways, and it was a lot of trial and error. But right now we got it locked in. Right now I'm 5'0". I'm healthy. I We just did 5 minute rounds. It was a piece of cake, and the diet now is perfect. Perfect.
Something that I've really started to do recently is intermittent fasting. Have you heard of that? Is that something that you implement when you're in camp?
Uh, Not so much. I love to eat all the time. So when my body says I'm hungry, I just go and eat.
Okay,
I,
yeah, makes sense. Is there one food that you have to maybe not look at while you're in camp? I know for me, it's pizza.
oh, it's Mexican food. Mexican. My whole household is full of Mexicans, and there's Mexican food making right now. My dad's making salsa, homemade salsa in the kitchen, and I got to stay in the room because I can't smell it right now.
Where's the best place to get a Mexican burrito, like an authentic one in your area in California?
Oh, it's right down the street. It's called Casa Adelitas. That's the place right there.
Okay. Next time I come to Cali, I'm gonna have to try that. I love my Mexican food, and I never had an avocado until I moved to California, and I feel like I was missing out on something so phenomenal for a good portion of my life.
Oh, that's so funny. My girlfriend's from Tennessee, and she ate the tamale with the wrapper still on it. So don't feel bad.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess I shouldn't feel too bad then. That's too funny.
Yeah.
Now, as far as this particular fight goes, Jose Martinez, tough opponent. You got another tough opponent on your hands. I mean, from here on out, that's pretty much all I'm assuming that you will be facing. No layups here. How do you like this matchup?
I like it a lot. I think he's perfect for me. He's a southpaw, and we've been working with southpaws a lot lately. And I think he's a tough, gritty guy. But I think that um, I'm gonna outclass him and just outperform him.
Who will be making the trip with you to Cornea come fight night?
My head coach Ben Jones.
All right, and you won't have. Are they allowing anybody other than one cornerman, or are they just?
No, and right now they're just allowing they're just allowing one. For the title fight they let me have two, but yeah, they're just letting one right now.
How do
I
you like?
usually Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you go. You go ahead.
I usually have my boxing coach Dale come with me, but we can only have one.
How do you like fighting with all these COVID restrictions, not having a huge stadium of screaming fans there? Does that bother you? Are you one of those fighters that really feeds off that energy?
Yeah, I feed off people watching. Like, if someone's in the gym, if one person's in the gym watching me, then I'm trying to show out. Um, So yeah, I love having the crowd, but I mean, I also love fighting. So I can fight you with nobody in the room. It's not going to make a difference. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to suck because now I can't really, you know, you know, I can't really hear the energy, feel it. But I mean, it's still going to be there.
So fighting most recently at LFA, LFA 87 with that loss to Bryce Logan, now back here again for LFA. How do you feel the whole setup is with everything? Do they have it pretty streamlined and dialed in as far as like, your testing and your quarantine and everything you need to do to get cleared to fight?
Oh yeah, LFA is great. They took care of us right when we got there. We got tested. We went back to our room in quarantine. They had everything like set up for us. So their whole setup is great.
I mean, LFA's got to be one of the absolute premier regional promotions in the country right now. Do you feel like, until you take that next step to maybe get another shot at Contender Series or, maybe into the UFC, like you're going to stay with LFA, maybe capture that title and then see where you're at then?
Yeah. I mean, we'll fight anywhere. I love fighting for LFA though. Our management, us and they get us whatever fight they get us. I'll be fighting him.
So official prediction for this fight here. How do you see yourself getting your hand raised?
First round finish.
All right. I love confidence. What is the goals as far as the activity goes for throughout the rest of the year? Are you trying to stay active and fight as many times as possible, or do you want to maybe get a little bit more duration in between your fights and get in full fight camps?
I'd love to fight every weekend if I could. I just love to stay busy. I'll be back in the gym on Monday ready to fight. So yeah, like if they call us next week that we need a last minute replacement, I'll be there. I'll be ready.
Very good. I love the attitude, my man. For anyone that's out there that wants to see him fight next, Jacob Rosales will meet Jose Martinez in the co-main event at LFA 97 this Friday, January the 15th. Before I let you go, I want to give you the floor if you want to plug your social media or anyone you want to thank. The floor is yours.
I'd like to thank Iridium, CSW, Ben Jones, Del Roybal, Speed Burners, and just everyone on my team.